Hello, I'm INGA NEAVES, and I welcome you to join me on a thought-provoking conversation, The Curse of Third Generation. Grandfather builds, son spends, grandson begs. Is it a myth or reality? Hold off on jumping to conclusion about your place in your family tree, at least until the very end of my presentation. This isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. Please do post your stories, share it with me. My hope is that it inspires you to consider shaping your family dynamics, or at very least, prompts reflection on the legacy we all inherit and leave behind. Here I am again. I am the founder of Scion Mastery and Scion Assets. Scion is an old English term not many English knows. It signifies both the heir of a notable family and the twig for planting, embodying the essence of lineage and the growth in one word. For 2 decades, I've globally coached youth, guiding them from the sweet childhood through the challenging adolescence to proud heirs of their families. The curse, nothing new. It didn't happen just today. It's been there from the beginning of life. These sayings from father buys, the son builds, the grandchild sells, and his son's begs. In every language, in all sides of the world, all the same. And it highlights how wealth and social status often follow a cycle across the generations, not always free, reminding us of the complexities involved in preserving success in a family across the generations. A lot of things moving around, the wars, the famine, the natural disaster, earthquakes, but some families survived. Some families somehow found the cure for that curse. Before we move on to the finding the cure, let's see how the generations describe. Each generation has its unique definition, challenges, and personality traits. The first group, known as the builders, fortune builders, they follow the motto, I have to win. Typically, they commence with little or even inherited financial and social debts from their parents, described as having an immigrant mentality. They share the experience of starting with nothing, having nobody, and often they even didn't speak the language of the land where they started their fortune. But they are aspiring to have everything and more. They're able to work 24/7. They're determined. The second generation, the children, they're quite often, they focus on fitting in, occasionally feeling even ashamed of lacking significant struggle in their life. They find contentment in participation or prioritizing maintaining a family reputation for polite communication and good manners, steering clear of pursuing achievements through ruthless actions. The third generation is indifferent to winning or participating. Why? They feel entitled to everything based on their family past efforts. Their role is to showcase the family's history and achievements, expecting recognition regardless of their socioeconomic status. Whether from the high-ranking or more modest background, we can find the third-generation examples everywhere. Fortune builders. Oh, we all like them. We all talk about them. If you want to hire someone, it's better be him, because the third generation, the builder, they can work 24/7. They're smart, they're shrewd, they know what they want, and they are go-getters. They would never ever talk about life-work balance. That sentence doesn't exist in their vocabulary, though they are lacking a proper formal education. They quite often face derogatory labels such as social climbers. And they've been many times betrayed, so they have to adopt ruthless traits. Also, despite of uplifting their families with a clear vision and relentless work, their own kin often disrespect them, with jokes about their character, often feeling ashamed of their social manners and someone tainted personality and reputation. So they are not very much loved, but for some reason everybody look up to them. Reaching a certain point in life, first-gen builders realizes they may be forgotten very soon, even by their own children and offsprings. Inspired by the historical figures like pharaohs, who took extreme measures to be remembered, modern builders, they create galleries, museums, and foundations, set up the foundations. Example of a Cecil Rhodes. He even named the country after himself, just in terms to be driven by the desire for a lasting legacy. Yes, of course, it's not a Rhodesia anymore, it's Zimbabwe, but they want to be remembered. They understood that we can't take all that money with us. And even our children, they are waiting for us to go and enjoy all that we earn with hard work. So at least we will be remembered. And therefore, 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation, meaning that second generation might never get all this wealth that the builders actually built. Why? Why is it so? The trust issues led to secretive wealth. Sometimes children even have no idea where their parents hid the money. But banks do know where, but they tell nobody, right? Limited time spent with the kids left heirs unprepared. So basically, the children, they have no idea how much they are going to inherit. They have no idea how big the size of inheritance, and they don't know what to do with it. So they let somebody else run it and they just enjoy the life. They are not prepared. Siblings rivalry and unclear family lines due to affairs fractured the fortune as well. Yes, sometimes they do have an extra affairs and there is no clear who going to inherit and what. They also fear that information will be leaked out. We all remember at the Christmas time when the little 5-year-old very innocently telling to the auntie who just come and visit and ask where is the presents, and the little 5 years old will be telling all the money hidden in the fireplace. Well, innocently, children sometimes spell what parents was talking in secrets to each other. We do know the issues. Some of them just getting really angry because they see that everybody around them expecting them to die very soon to enjoy everything that they work hard for. So they're getting really angry and they decide, my time, whatever remains to me, I'm going on a spending spree all around the world, or marrying someone young who appreciates me for whatever, and therefore none would remain to the second generation. Also, a lot of them, they don't even consider the possibility of death. So also, in the terms of being remembered, they leave no will. Obviously, the taxes will get the most, but the siblings, they will be talking about them all the time while sharing who will get what. So they make sure that they will be remembered, just not to leaving a will. Here are some current days tycoon, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. They all decided that they will disinherit their heirs. So majority of their wealth will be going to the charity. I am yet to see the child who complains that he's been left too much of the money after his father. But I have a lot of children that they complain all the time that they didn't leave enough. If not money, they didn't have enough of time, affection, education, or even appearance. So if the second generation managed to get hold of majority of the inheritance from the builders, they will be lucky. And you would think that they will definitely preserve it, if not multiply, at least preserve, but not often. because to preserve, you need a different set of skills. You need a financial education, you need investment strategy, you need to have a really good risk assessment strategies, but they were not prepared. From the early age, they didn't spend much time with their parents or with a builder who didn't teach them. And also, they've been kind of not allowed to explore their own talents because they were doing something that parents expect them to do. And they are not doing it with much attempt, but by the time when they have to inherit the wealth, the bad habits already set. And we all know how difficult it is to change the bad habits. Try to start to do running when at the age of 50, when for all your 45 years before you was lying on a sofa bed. It's very difficult to change that habit, right? And if your habit is bad decisions that been done often for you or dictated to you, you've never been involved in taking any decision, you have to choose or one or that, but not really deciding for yourself that maybe there is another way of doing anything. Then alcohol, drug dependency, overspending, luxury life, because you have to go with the flow and you're kind of embarrassed of your traits of your father who earned all of this with some dodgy ways. So all of it. Also family conflicts. They do have a tendency to have extramarital affairs as well, and few wives and maybe wrong wives, and divorces that will halven the fortune. So here's, if anything remain, that will be very little remain to the third generation. So this generation, second one, rightly so, often called squanderers, and very little will come to the third generation. And they are the spenders. Why? Because of it's all belong to them. Their parents didn't work much. Why they would be? They all been fed the stories of the grandparents, how they conquered the world, how they built the family, and that quite often that parents and the grandparents told them, you need to do nothing. Your job is to be brilliant. But to work, why? You have enough for the rest of your life. Third gen, the cursed one, entitled, spoiled, demanding gods and goddesses. Traits transcend family ranking, evident even in the underworld society. I met few of them in Goa, in rural Goa, building the road. The traits are all the same. So what's happening? They quite often heard from their parents, Oxbridge grads, worked for your grandparent, and he almost illiterate. And they still work for your father, who doesn't really work hard. So they still doing the accounting and everything, and they work from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock in the night, and father could call them any time of the night, but your father is home and doing the lovely life. So stupid work hard, we work smart. They learn to be disrespectful to those who work or shine or study. Their values are very superficial. No wonder that on average, it takes only 19 days for someone who receives the inheritance to buy a new car. They made believe in inheriting exquisite gene and counting on that gene to kick in when needed. Don't get me wrong, parents always source the best teachers, and the best teachers only those who isn't demanding with the homework and avoid disappointing a child by pointing out mistakes or, God forbid, lack of knowledge. Those teachers are bad teachers. They don't know how to teach. They can't inspire my child. They can't motivate my child to study. Teachers are replaced as soon as a child complains that the task was too hard to solve. Bad teacher, bad teacher. They also overheard parents say between each other, I want my child to have a carefree childhood, free from societal expectation, a real childhood. With our wealth, even their grandchildren, they don't need to work. I want my children behave as they wish. If they wish to be an animal, they will behave as an animal. And I don't want any judgment. They are able to do, and I secured that they can do whatever they want. I will fight for you, I will pay for you, and I will live vicariously through you. And so they go, the third gen, engaging in shocking behaviors. Often, actually, parents showing off to each other what shocking behavioral their children getting on. It's almost like a competition who got it worst. The one who graduated and carry on with the studies or mediocre studies, they always come across with some sort of affluenza or melancholy as an obstacle to fulfill their potential, to turn their potential into anything tangible. A lot of them even don't graduate from a secondary school. They're constantly getting into troubles, and there are always MAPA fund and a big book of secret contacts that help them to run away, to escape any trouble, any learning experience just is not for them. And what do they leave? They leave behind a family fortune of financial debts and questionable reputation. Remember, I ask you not to jump into the conclusion of your position in generational tree of your family. Right now is a time to start to think about this in a deeper level. Having a family constellation technique in my coaching toolkit, I could see the generational traits all mixed and jumped all over. And I'm confident that majority of us couldn't really pinpoint what exactly generational position we are in. And in my opinion, after 20 years of practice, it's only a matter what generational traits you decide to take on as a mission, what skills and qualities you inherited, developed, and want to leave behind for your family tree. We have to remember that not every immigrant become a founder of Rockefeller's family. Not every prince turns to be a mediocre king. Not every grandson ranked as a third stupidest heir of the richest family in no country. I want to tell you a little story. In 2023, I visited Bordeaux on business and I met a lovely winemaker. He is the owner of a vineyard that now produces Grand Cru Classy, a distinction held by only over 70 vineyards, a testament to their exceptional quality. The next level is prestigious Premier Grand Cru Classy, the pinnacle of achievement. The competition is fierce, and progression to the next category occurs only once every 10 years. In 2022, he missed the target by only 3 points. We are so close and so far away. A lot of things could happen over the 10 years. It's very hard to sustain the standard and satisfy those 3 points that I missed. He was disappointed, but somehow the aura of calmness, confidence, and great expectations was all around him. With a gleam in his eyes, he declares, I pay now for the future generations to enjoy life. His family nowhere near to the neighboring Rothschilds' Lafitte Chateau, but his family sustained the vineyard and dealt with a curse many times throughout, hear this out, 500 years. His family business is 500 years old. There were wars, revolution, natural disasters, family conflicts, of course, disputes with the neighbors, everything. The story of one of his ancestors, amazing because he secured the vineyard on the ranking list to be served the French court when the ranking list was established in 1855. So his family, his ancestor, was the founder of the list. The other granddad, unfortunately, lost half of the land playing cards. It took 2 generations to regain the territory back after the gambler. They also lost the status of Grand Cru Classy, and they have to reinstall it. He is well aware of the curse of third generation and so-called a great wealth transfer. It's not happening just now. It's been there all the time. And his family passed over some rules. the cure that they all follow. And we will talk about the cure in the next few minutes. Nobody knows who cast the spell, when and why, but everyone looking for the cure. It is clear that ending up in those 10% that escape the curse not happened by luck or voodoo shmoodoo antidote vaccine. Harvard Business School established the program, the third generation R&D. Swiss financial services, they witness to losing the client as soon as the second generation or third generation, or even not coming to that stage to take over the businesses or wealth. They identified few points: the family conflicts, entitlement, lack of financial education, philanthropy, and family values. Let's see how and what they found, how they're going to sort it out. We happen to be friends with Berga's Berenberg Bank. In attempt to keep the relationship with the next gen, they created series of events to introduce next gen to holistic approach to banking, to hopefully inspire their education, personal and professional paths. They organized a field trip to London. They brought 30 Scions to London and introduced them to the topics covered by the specialists in the fields. You could see on the photographs some of my students, they were there. Here is few topics that Bergas covered. They tried to send a message to the youngsters. Yes, we might be 100 years old. We have a hell of a lot of experience, but we are in tune with the modern world. They covered topics such as blockchain, decentralized finance, why passion, networking, and endurance make you triumphant. It's up to the 21-year-old street, right? Regenerative assets, successful examples of symbiotic human culture in a modern context. Yes, in the modern world, globalized world, it's very difficult to sustain your heritage and adapt to the new way of living. Kids loved it. My children, my students, was the youngest one at the event, but they got the most because they were able to understand what does it mean blockchain. They actually study computer science, so they knew what the guy was talking about and they loved him. All this that banking trying to do is having a huge sense, and I think is useful. And almost at the same time, UBS, Citibank, and Credit Suisse in New York ran the event for the 52 heirs to lavish fortunes, who luxuriate sitting drinking a special latte at the Four Seasons. They speak of language of wealth, they talk of money, Nobel obliged, technology, and Formula One. And they also get to know each other because wealth stays with wealth. And the family conflicts could be avoided or minimized if you choose right. Financial crisis in 2008 proved that wealth management, old style, with the trusts, and even a German model on its own is not enough. It's prompted rich to manage their finances themselves. I would stop a little bit on the German model. Wouldn't go into the details, but they tried to jump, and they did jump one generation. So the requirement was, if children want to work for the family business, they have to go and get a certain degree at the only top universities. They have to work for the competition of a family business for 5 years in a position that they want to take in a family. Otherwise, if they don't want to do it, they will get pocket money with a certain amount, quite big pocket money, not the common people pocket money. They will be living okay to sustain the social standards of a family. Some kids, they went and they work hard and they knew what to do in a family business. Others, they prefer the pocket money without any struggle. And this is how they were trying to avoid the curse of the third generation. They did jump one generation, but it still didn't work. Family offices is nothing new. They always existed, but for much bigger corporations. After 2008, many more families started to take their destiny in their own hands, because they understood that it's not only money have to be prepared for children, but children have to be prepared for the money. Previously, family offices was set up as a financial structure. There were trusts, wealth managers, and all of them looked after the wealth, after the financial side of a family, ending up actually working more for the interest of themselves than the interest of a family. We do know the stories when the trusts wouldn't release the inheritance to even a very capable heirs who end up with a limited amount of money behind them starting a new business. Modern family offices are different. They do look after financial side of a family, but they also invest a lot of time, a lot of resources to build the family itself. Remember the winemaker? I asked him if he was prepared, if he was trained to take over the family business. He was not trained to be a winemaker. He was trained and made a good living in the banking industry. But he always knew that when the time come right, he will be the one who will take a family fortune to the next stage. He has a sister who is declared very early that she always will be a silent partner in a family business because she wants to be a medical doctor, and she is a very good one. He is talking with pride, appreciation for his ancestors, praising them that they sustained a family business to pass over to him. And they restricted him with his career choice, saying that he is the one responsible to take the vineyard to the first great Grand Cru Class C. His family know where are they going, what family wants, and how they're going to achieve it together with his family. We will continue to talk about him a little bit more because he has two daughters who at the moment teenagers. And he is the only one, the end of a family line, and the girls, because his sister doesn't have children. Traditionally, family offices settled all around the world. The capitals for the family offices will be New York, London, Paris. Great Britain family offices market is special. Why? Is combination old money pedigree with the new entrepreneurial family offices. There are so many hidden family offices settled quietly in the secret streets where no one bothers them. It is fascinating how you could walk between the richest, the most influential people in the world, and you don't know them, and you don't know that the heart of their business and the family is next door to you. London is the capital of the world in finance, science, art, and culture. Where else if not London? People feel better when they're on a mission. We feel alive, we feel excited, we feel life. Imagine Indiana Jones will be just flowing along the line. Who will be watching that movie? Nobody. If you start to think about what is your family destiny, what is your family ancestry roots, what they had falls and downs, how they overcome it, and what do you think? What is your target? What is your mission for your family altogether? The Scion is an inheritor, but not of wealth. He is an inheritor of ambition, skills, knowledge, and wisdom. And all of that coming through your DNA, through the stories that you are telling to each other. Credit Suisse, Burgers Bank, UBS, and other wealth management companies might getting hold of a science a little too late, because by the age of 21, they already drug addict, alcoholic addict, and affluence and melancholy settle so hard that the only way is go or retreat. And education, the math skills, the simple math skills could have been lost at the age of 13, and they couldn't be regained because this child has been told that he is special and it would kick at some stage. The only way for that heirs, for that scion, is to be silent partners in the family enterprise. Everything started with a foundation, and it's happened by design, not by the luck. Sometimes plastic, fantastic, rotten inside must be destroyed to the ground to start all over again. But majority of the time, I believe that reinvention can save the day. Whether our student 5 or 55, we follow a modern family office structure centered on mission, vision, and values. But we keep things real. There is no CEO jargon, not with teenagers for sure, and not with a tired mother or father. It's a simple guide for our journey together. We start from the dream, which is not financial. We are moving to a wish, which is financial. And we are coming with the targets, a call to action. Let's compare it to the Lorenzo de' Medici. His dream was that Florence will become a center of European trade, the outstanding beauty home for inhabitants to explore life and live in a high quality standards. He understood that he needs for this finances. So his wish was, I will build the castle, the beautiful place where I will invite powerful and influential people who would help me to achieve my dream. Someone could start with a little action or a big action, and the target will be, I want to establish myself as a medical doctor to earn all that money to build the castle that will achieve my dream. Absence of financial literacy is reactivating the curse. We believe that learning about money starts at home. As you parents who are teaching your children saving, spending, strategies to save and increase their wealth, don't rely on a school or university. They can provide the technical support and math lessons, but children picking up from you your relationship with the money, and they learn their relationship with the money. It's very difficult for parents to talk about money. First of all, it's forbidden subject. Nobody talk about money, but everybody do talk about money. And it's very confusing. Or children given way too much, but they don't understand the value of money. They have no idea. We had a student who said, well, money is in a wall. We asked, what do you mean in a wall? She said, well, you're going to the wall, you put the card, and there is money. And we asked her, who put the money behind the wall? She said, well, my daddy. What, are you stupid? Of course, my daddy. Children don't understand this. And sometimes parents actually treating children with disrespect and abusing them. I've given you so much and you are not grateful person. You just do not like, you just don't behave nicely. And I'm giving you so much. I work so hard. And children get confused. It is a difficult topic. And I wouldn't tell you what to do. Each family is different and each personality is different. You have to pay attention to yourself and to your own child. I could just tell you how schools doing it and what we do. You can take it on and apply it in your family. Boarding schools, not a day schools, but boarding schools are a very good supporter. They are friends for the parents because boarding school actually is saying, we advise as a pocket money, let's say £50 per week. And you say, sorry, this is advice from the school. It's not I am stingy parent or anything else, but this is the money and you live for this amount of money. You can learn to save, you can learn to waste, you can learn to spend wisely. This is your money. Schools are good for this. What do? We bring the topic of money very early in our conversation with everyone. And even with 5 years old, they do know the value of money. They understand. They just never been asked what they think about this. We used to play, and we still do play, cash flow. It's not the advertising and not a promotion for Robert Kiyosaki to buy this game, but we find that this game is very powerful because it's down to earth and down to reality. It's not like Monopoly, something imaginary, which is you have to come a little bit imaginative and older. But cash flow is actually very real because it's linked to the profession. And we love it to avoid the second generation pitfall of using a useless profession. Try to find the job at 21 when you graduated from the bachelor's degree of feminine studies. Good luck. Lawyer, Here, as you could see, the professional card. So children have to fill up the card with a lawyer, how much lawyer, or the janitor, or the doctor, or the cleaner, how much do we earn per month, and how much they are spending. I would love to bring your attention to this red thing, that circled red, per child expenses, because during the game is down to earth and to the real life. During the game, you actually could have a child, and the child born, the expenses increase. So every time from your salary, now you have to extract exactly how much child costs to you. I remember one of my students, after having 3 children, saying, children are so expensive, I'm never gonna get rich. The game is real. There are cards like a market, like a doodads. Doodads are fantastic because sometimes life happens and you have to visit a dentist, or buy a food processor, or you have to go for a shopping spree, or you find a girlfriend and you have to buy her flowers. That was not on your expenses list, right? Some doodads. Doodads would come and you have to pay it. The market is emphasizing the crisis and the increases and the luck. And children have to fill up with a pencil. Every time they get the card, they have to refill, they have to change the income statement. The meaning of a game is to get out of a rat race. So basically when your passive income covering your expenses. Cash flow is a down-to-earth real game. And besides playing the cash flow, we also organize motivational and leadership trainings. We take our students to the center park and we recreate the real life scenario. So over the 3 days, they have to learn each other, they have to understand the good sides of each other, and they have to pick the team. They have to create the idea, and they have to develop this idea with income and expenses, everything, to present it at the end of the 3 days in front of a board, who will decide we will take your idea or we are not. And while they are learning each other traits and abilities and what they can do, and the skills already existed, and they are working with creating the idea, they're sweeping through one idea, another idea, we finally have to stop on one. There is money given to them, of course, because they do know that to start the business, idea is not enough. You also need some money to do so. And the money that they can use is assigned to each student remaining years until they finish the bachelor's degree. Let's say someone who is A2 student, they only remain 3 years of their money to finish the bachelor's degree. But someone who is a GCSE student, a rich kid, because he's got at least 2 years of A level and 3 years of bachelor's degree, a rich kid. Why do we do it? Because they have to understand that sometimes you take a silent partner for the amount of money that he can bring, or she, and sometimes you take a clever one with not much money on the board. Though we quite often witness that 14 years old actually more active and bringing more interesting ideas than A2. I wonder why is it happening? Another activator for the curse is entitlement. We believe that entitlement starts with education, or rather with a way how they look at the education. So the first generation, they valued the education, but they could never have. They didn't have means for this, and they didn't have time. They have to work the education on the go while looking after the family. They always would believe that if they had the right education at the right institution, under the right management of the perfect teachers, in the right social circle, their dreams would have been bigger. They could have achieved more and faster. The second generation got that message a little bit distorted. So everything they understood from their fathers, that the only aim for the education is to be in the right circle of friends in a social circle, because it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So they go struggle very little, and they are getting into that top-notch universities, but following a quite useless degree. So they do graduate from the Oxbridge and Ivy League, but with a degree that wouldn't land them a job right away. Try to get a job at 21 after finishing bachelor's degree in some sort of a feminine studies or street art. This would be very difficult. So they don't understand. They are in the right circle of friends and society, and they are with a degree from the top universities, but actually if their parents don't lend them the job, they wouldn't be able to find any income. And the third generation completely lost. They understood from the grandparents that, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. From their parents that it doesn't matter, because clever people work smart. And anyway, schools are there to breed not thinkers, but the workers. And you are not a worker. And so we have thousands of third gen lying on a sofa, not going to the school and saying, oh, I'm waiting when my excellent genes start to kick in, and I would go to another ashram and maybe smoke with a shaman something that it's actually reactivate my gene, and I wake up knowing everything and better than everyone. Because again, work is for the stupid one. For me, we are special. We work smart. We own the factories. That's it. You don't need to run the factory. You just own it. There is a theory that children belong to us parents only until the age of 13. After 13, they belong to the crowd. Our job as a parent is to secure and to make our life easier that your child by the age of 13 is in the right crowd. Whatever crowd you place your children with, you will be dealing with the troubles of that crowd. Let's say that if your child happened to get the place in a school where it's just children concerned about Instagram, rock and roll, and having fun, this is what you will be dealing with. If you manage otherwise, so your child will be probably annoy you with the talks of Elon Musk and his discovery and his attempt to go to Mars. Well, both are very difficult for parents who are working to listen to and to deal with, but you choose which is better for your family dynasty. Modern family offices assign their success to ability to adapt to the future generations. Maintaining respect and manners is the key, especially when dealing with different generations. Dressing up in a funky style or using inappropriate language might not bridge the gap. That would bring you down, but not closer to them. Stringing together four-letter words for expression doesn't take much brain power, effort, or creativity. Back to the winemaker. Remember him? What he got to say on this topic? For a long time, and even now, we have been seen as farmers, people with a simple language, humble taste in clothes, and basic food preferences. Our tradition is all about manners. Even in the toughest moments, we stick to it. No harsh words allowed. And if someone slips publicly, they earn some farm time. 1 weekend for each four-letter word. It's one way to keep things in check. I want to ask you, what do you have in your family about the manners? Mission. Sometimes mission is given to you. Sometimes is inherited. Sometimes you have to find a mission for yourself. So what was winemaker saying? His mission been given to him. He knew that he'd been chosen to continue the family business. He'd been given a chance to have his personal mission fulfilled, which he called a profession, but his mission was established for him. You could find a mission for yourself, or you could dig far away in your family ancestry line and find what was their mission, and maybe get inspired and create it reinvent it again. What rules about independent profession is in your family? The winemaker saying that he's had a plan that he has to get the profession, like his sister. His sister chose to be medical doctor. He chose to be a banker. And his mission is different from profession. His mission is to run family business. And his profession is a banker. He achieved a certain level in the banking industry that he put himself as his personal mission. And he actually had a critical minimum amount of time, because he kind of knew at what age he has to actually leave his profession or use his profession, but to benefit a family business, a mission, family mission. His girls have the same. They have to take the courses that will lead them to establish themselves as a professional in any area of industry they wish. If they want to be an artist, good luck. Go and be a professional there. If they want to be a banker or doctors, good luck. Go and be there. You have to earn the profession. You have to start to earn the money at the age of 21. And until you actually prove that you know how to earn the money, only after that you are allowed to be introduced to the greater mission of a whole family and will be bring on a boat. Money. All that glorious money. So what do they have to say about money? The winemaker saying, I spoil my girls because I love them. They have everything. But there are terms again. When I give them the money, I give them particularly for the big things. The small things, they have to earn themselves. So I'm paying for their education, it's a big expenses. I'm paying for their accommodation, it's a big expenses. But I don't pay for their lipstick, for their makeup, because that little things they have to learn to earn themselves. Last one, but not the least, probably the most important, family conflicts. How do you navigate family conflicts? There is a siblings rivalry, there is a competition, and there is also, you have to choose your partner. I asked the winemaker what is his success story, what is his tricks. He is stuck against the what to say to the girls. He doesn't know. And the only thing he could do is to show his own example. So he always say, I think I was lucky. And one thing I've done differently to the common beliefs, I didn't marry my best friend. I married a partner who supported my dream and mission for my family. And she is spicy, so I say that I'm lucky to be married few times to the same woman. So not parting with any fortune of a family, but be excited about it. Transactional, superficial, and artificial relationships with machines entering all areas of our life, I believe that this is a Trojan horse of our era. This is what we are dealing with, our children going to deal, and their children will be dealing as well, because it's not gonna go. If anything, it's what become even harder. People not becoming anymore lonely because they decided to seclude themselves in the woods. You could feel loneliness sitting at the dinner table full of your friends and families, where everybody nod tactfully with good manners, saying yeah, or something very simple, and showing you that they are not hearing what you are telling. They are not interested. And they much more prefer to flick through the Instagram or the TikTok, watching probably kittens or weird people doing weird stuff that they have no idea about. And it's just sometimes it's really appalling when if you're asking the person on the next to you any question, they actually need to contact their best friend, new exclusive friend of ChatGPT to give you an excellent answer. Appalling, but it's not gonna go. And it's a lot of pluses in the technology. We will talk about this. We are all starved for the human attention. We hungry for that sweet feelings when the eyes of a stranger, or not a stranger, your opponent is locked on you. They with the interest and curiosity to understand you, to find out what are you. And we want that universal, born before speech, body language, where without any word, without even a gaze, you know that person is for you. You can touch that person. You could actually feel that they listen 100% to what you got to say. So for that, those reasons, we are hosting on the 30th of April, filter-free, eyes-to-eyes, face-to-face event, providing exactly the atmosphere of safety and deep care in the intimate space of the RAC Club. Of course, where else? I myself personally quite often witnessed the transfer of a legacy from the grandparents to the grandchildren under the watch of their parents. No wonder it's RAC. RAC been pictured in the downtown Abbey. It's a place almost like a symbol when the new era began, when the young at the time baby boomers got obsessed with the new technology of automobiles, and here's the change in society started. We will be discussing and sharing practical strategies, the emphasis on the practical, used by the conquerors of the curse of the third generations, applied by us within our 20 years of preparing the next generation for their professional careers, and each participant can share with us their tricks to ensure thriving family dynamics. We are all perfect humans with adorable imperfections. So each family, each person have their own tricks, and maybe that tricks could be shifted and could be adjusted to everyone else, and maybe they are working very well. Please note that this event is for 20 guests only and invitations only. Strict rules and procedures applies. Get in touch with us to get further details and instructions. Registration closes on the 1st of April. Please, before you decide anything, check the rules for RAC for the dress code. You would need it. Did you study at the University for Parents? Confused with the answers? I was too, because such a thing doesn't exist, though I think it's time to establish one. Please don't call us for 1 to 3 easy steps to educate your child in the top school and top universities. We don't do generics. We firmly believe that each student and a family has unique strengths, aspirations, abilities, and traditions, and we deeply care for it. Also, please don't call us if you think that the only things required from you is a light touch of your finger on a button and the perfect family, perfect relationship, and a family empire dynasty will be delivered to you next day by Amazon Prime. I think they don't have it in stock, and frankly, we don't believe in fairy tales, though we use fairy tales when looking for the solutions to your obstacles. Small intervention, playful, meaningful, easy to apply, and most of all, is created just for you and your family dynamics, will result in huge differences. We all eat, drink, sleep, and breathe. But the way each of us doing it, resulting in the way we feel and we look, right? From 40 students that been taught by the same teacher for the same length of time, some couldn't even graduate, and others flying to Oxbridge. We all know doctors that studied in the same medical school, and some of them have a queue and a waiting list of patients waiting for them to be available, and others went to do business. We also wouldn't teach you what to do. We even wouldn't advise you what to do. We will assist you and your child to find your own dreams, distinguish them from societal norms and expectations, and from the family unreasonable pressures. We will be mediators between generations to set the family destinations and embark on it, preserving individual abilities, talents, and ambitions. Pick up your phone and schedule your initial consultations. After you're coming for your consultations, please leave your phone behind, because for 2 hours, your own attention and our attention abilities and skills will be on you and on your destiny. Remember, beginning is not a definition of the end, though it could affect the longevity and length of your journey. Dial the phone and let's write your story. You can always get in touch with us. You have here our details, our mobile phone, our landline, email, all sorts of social media. You can definitely find us online. But most of all, please pop in into our office. We are just 17 minutes walk from Buckingham Palace, situated perfectly between Victoria Station and the Sloane Square, and the streets you will be walking are glorious and fabulous. You could have a coffee anywhere there. But when you come to our office, please pay attention that this is our sanctuary, this is our place. We are old-fashioned, physically present, and we ensure that everyone who works in the office actually works for you and your child. And we are not cooking a borscht or looking after someone else or texting somewhere else when we are on the phone with you. So you do know where we are. Please pop in and introduce yourself. We always welcome you.